It's Vicksburg and Warren Central coming up at the top of the hour. Glad you can join us here for Friday Night Football here at Viking Stadium. Vicksburg and Warren Central, another chapter of this rivalry is going to be written. Hopefully the Gators can get it done. It's been a while. I think, 13 straight, I believe, somewhere in there. And it's been a long time. Probably long overdue to get a win here. So we'll see if we can get it done. But let's recap the Ridgeland game. Charles Edmond with Vicksburg High Coach Chris Lacey. Coach, another week. We'll put the Ridgeland game behind us, but what are some of the things we got to fix coming out of that game?
Just capitalizing on opportunities. We had about 9 opportunities that going back looking at the film where we just did it to ourselves, shot ourselves in the foot, and you can't do that. We try to keep that thing between 14 when it really should have been us up the whole time anyway. So after the game, we talked about it as a team and practiced on it this week and corrected the stuff on Monday. And you just leave it where it's at. You bury it and you go on by your business. So when you have them games like that, you get in the red zone as many times, open balls and stuff. It's just execution at the end of the day.
They had a bunch of explosive plays. They had a kickoff return that kind of kept us in it. So a lot of good stuff coming out of that.
Yeah, we've been doing pretty good on special teams as a whole this year. A lot of the holes that we didn't kind of have last year, the holes that we did have last year, we kind of fixed them in the offseason and up to now. I think that's our second kick return this year. We done blocked punts. We done did it all. So we're doing a better job on special teams, and that's a plus. We just got to add the other facets of the game to it.
Defensively, handling that wing T, how would you evaluate that?
I feel like we started off handling it pretty well, but we were just on the field too long, and that ain't the type of offense you want to just be on the field that long. His strategy or that offensive strategy is to keep the defense actually off the field. So we put us on the field too much, so we just reversed it all, and I guess the offense used the rules that it takes to defeat that offense with discipline. It kind of took a toll on my younger guys. So, but they played hard, which, that's what I asked for, and we just had to fix it.
Well, Jermichael Maxey was 12 out of 16 for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. I thought he had a solid game.
Yeah, he did well. As far as, I guess, it was a better game for him as a whole than it was the first 2 games. I take that from it. But I'm hard on him too. So like I told him, opportunities that you had to complete balls and, the interception and thing, we got to learn from that and we got to execute on those. As a quarterback, people going to more than none judge you off the mistakes you make, more than what you do well. So we got to try to eliminate those mistakes.
And then, of course, the interception there, Coach. Talk about that.
Just a read issue, just taking the wrong read, and Jermichael learned from it. And again, I put a lot of pressure on Jermichael because he's a very, very, very smart kid. If you're around him, you'll realize, he got that offense remembered to the T. If it ain't, he remember it better than the coaches do. So I got to push him and I got to be hard on him because, we're going to have actual games. It's going to be dog fights where we might need him to pull it out, and he just can't make those mistakes down there.
How has he taken the hard coaching?
He yes, sir, and he gonna study and do what he got to do to get it right. You don't have no problems out of Jermichael. He just one of them kids. He come from good people, good parents, and stuff like that. So he raised up to be able to handle some adverse situations.
It was a high scoring game, 48-22. Did you expect it to be a high scoring
game? I don't know if I did or not. I didn't expect us to play with. I didn't expect us to not capitalize on all them opportunities. I say that. You know what I'm saying? Whichever way that shifts the scoreboard, that's kind of how I took it. But we just got to play better. That ain't the expectation. That ain't the Gator standard. And the kids know, and they worked hard this week to fix it.
What emotion is better? Getting the opportunities, happy that you're getting them, but then getting them, not capitalizing. Which emotion tears at you, really runs through that?
Ooh, I guess that's, for me, that'd be like a seesaw effect, because immediately after the game, I was more mad at myself than the kids because I run to like hard coaching. So like if Marquise doesn't catch a ball or Jermichael misses a throw, like it's my job as a teacher to try to get that fixed. And maybe it's through mechanics or maybe it's through just teaching, what coverage they're going over. But I'm never going to put the blame on the kids. The only thing I put blame on them for is not giving that effort. But just me as a teacher, I guess I was more mad at myself because now I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go watch the film and get to Monday so we can fix these problems. And I just asked them to come to practice with the effort and the intensity and the discipline to fix it. So I guess it was more so me. I had a conversation with the coaching staff after the game, like, look, we got to get it fixed. The kids play hard and they work hard, but us, we got to run to fixing those issues. So more so just me and the seesaw I had to go through mentally to put it on me to fix them problems for them.
I've seen more receivers get open this year so far than I've seen in a long time. Your receivers are getting open.
Well, they're a veteran group, and then they all friends and they band together. They work real hard this off season. And then, one thing that people, last year I heard a lot of flack about some of my coaches being young and all this, but Tyrese Wolf works well with those wide receivers, and that's coaching. If they starting to get open and deals like that, that means somebody is coaching them kids up. And, I praise him for that, and I praise Coach Boone for helping Jermichael out and Coach King and Coach Bennett for, setting a game plan that's going to help them be successful and, add value to them.
Talk to your team after the game. You referenced what was the message they were giving you? I know it was disappointing. Undefeated team, first loss. What was the body language telling you after the game?
To not get rid of the greedy mentality. Not to get rid of the greedy mentality. Telling the kids like, look, this was on us. Like this had nothing to do with what originally did. It was more so what Vicksburg did. So we can't get in the car and cry and blame and pout and do all that. We got to come here Monday and get ready for this one. And then at the same time, it's over. The scoreboard say we lost. We need to go fix our problems, and we got Warren Central next week. So you ain't got time to mope and hang around and be sad and down. Now it's time for us to go to work.
Well, hard week of work getting ready for Warren Central. So let's get right into it. Another edition of this rivalry. I'm learning more and more about it each and every year. Here at Viking Stadium, but you've learned more and more about this rivalry. You've been in the library, you've been on social media, just digging up stories and articles and interviews, just trying to get any kind of information that you can. How has the past game, going back 15, 10 years, how has that impacted your preparation for 2025's edition?
I'm just trying to figure out why this rivalry is so lopsided. We played, 44 times, I think. Warren Central has won about 35, 36. I think Vicksburg got about 8. And I'm just trying to figure out where did the lopsidedness come from in the rivalry. And, one thing that I attribute that to and just reading old newspapers and talking to people and just trying to figure out is, sometimes we just get away from who we is. One thing that I always hear is, even me, I played at Warren Central, so I kind of understand what goes on inside of that field house. So I'm the best person to tell you because I'm over here now. And I guess the big thing is when we get off the bus, we just got to play Gator football. They're going to play Viking football, whatever that means. And we got to beat Vicksburg. We can't be South Panola. We can't even try to be Warren Central. We got to be Vicksburg. And whatever that means, to me, that's the thing. Like, that team has to show up. We can't do nothing different. A lot of those articles you hear, old coaches say, we just got out of our way. We got in our own way. We did something different. Well, we not going to do nothing different tonight. Win, lose, or draw, we're going to be Vicksburg. We're going to play Vicksburg ball, and I think that help you sleep better.
What is Viking football as you look at the 2025 edition?
To my just them or they're gonna do what they do. They're gonna play disciplined football. They're gonna keep it simple. Run to the ball. They try to feed off your mistakes, and that's just how they play ball. They hope that you put yourself in a hole, and they just capitalize off that by just being them. I guess they got the mantra 11 brothers or whatever that means to them. That's what they do, and then we just have to do what we do.
When you look at Nash Morgan, the quarterback. He accounted for 5 touchdowns, whether it's rushing, throwing. What is it about Nash Morgan that you? What makes Nash Morgan Nash Morgan?
His feet, he can run. He get himself out of certain positions. That ain't a little dude either. He a nice sized kid. So on film, he look pretty strong. And that's just, you gotta get there and tackle. You gotta be able to make sure your rush lane's right, and everybody gotta be able to cover and just try to put him in some uncomfortable positions. It's just like any quarterback, especially high school, young kid, try to test out their adversity and see how they handle, pressure situations.
They beat Pearl 28-0. Germantown 52-41. Had 401 yards rushing. So talk a little about that.
Got to win up front. Got to stop the run. A lot of those plays were off second chances, like him setting back to throw a ball and the quarterback take off and get outside the pocket and run. He's a very athletic kid, so he can get himself out of some of those situations, and you just got to be able to keep him in that box, cage him in, and be able to tackle him and cover on the back end. We're pretty good up front. We're pretty good in the secondary, pretty good on defense. So if the kids do what they're supposed to do, and just going back to the beginning saying, like, we play Gator football, I promise you we're going to be all right.
Well, you've been on the other side. You've been in that Warren Central Fieldhouse, of course, being here. What is it about this rivalry? I'm learning more and more every year. Just when this week comes up, it's just, you had the golf tournament, you had the wing eating contest. It's just a lot going on before the game. But just what is it about this rivalry? I mean, am I making too much of it?
No, excuse me. No, you ain't making too much of it. I mean, it's football. It's football season. It's high school football. Most towns shut down. When high school football come around, especially the rivalry. I mean, this thing deeply rooted all the way down to blood, sweat, tears, families. What I'm saying? It affect a lot of stuff. Who win this game? Sometimes, that school might have a better school year. Student body be more happy. Like I say all the time, the man that works at the local donut shop, when he hang you your coffee in the morning, he got a smile on his face if he a Gator or he a Viking. So it's important to everybody. I think last year, just on my mistake, I think I kind of lost sight of that and kind of shunned it a little bit. But we're not shunning it this time. Like, we really locked in on winning this football game. And for the people, it's important to us and the community and our fan base and teachers, administrators, student body. Like, that's what we focus on trying to do, get that dub.
This game the last few years has come down to one play or two plays. A hook and ladder has been a low-scoring game. It's been one or two plays, and they're looking for any little bit of a mistake that you might make to capitalize on, and that make like.
And I preach to the kids all week, like, look, this ain't a game of cuteness. Like, ain't gonna be a lot of cute stuff going on. It's in the past, looking at it, past 10, 13 years, it's probably average in a game. It's probably 8 passes thrown, like literally on their end and on the other end. So it's gonna be one of them games. I mean, when you run the ball, that's safe. A lot of them scores are 7-0, stuff like that. So it come down to the football stuff, fitting the run, getting this block, tackling, and then just discipline. Like I told the kids earlier, we always lose the penalty battle. We always lose the turnover battle. That's a discipline issue, and they want to play into that aspect of it. So just go play football and play discipline, is my message to the kids. And Marquise and them know, I've been telling them all week, like, just be disciplined. That should win the game for you. If you be disciplined, give yourself a shot.
Early in the game, we have these rivalry games, the emotion always going to be heightened early on. When the game settles in, that's when the chess match starts.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to try to find a way to simulate that in practice. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get high school kids to understand that you're just trying to make it tough for them in practice so they be good to go on Friday. I mean, I was a menace this week in practice, just trying to, make somebody get ticked off at me to be able to refocus themselves and be able to go. Because like I tell them, especially my sophomores, seeing them like, you ain't never been in front of a crowd like this, you're going to see Friday. And then when you got two teams, 2-1, one side don't know if this side, it's going to be more of a packed house and all the festivities going on, people coming home. It's going to be a big one. It might look like one of them old Vicksburg, Warren Central games where, I read in the paper and it's 10,000, 9,000 people in the stadium trying to watch a game. So if you haven't ever seen that, then those elements are like kind of shock you a little bit when the band playing and you sweating up under your gloves and stuff. So just trying to get them to understand what we going into is the hard part, trying to simulate it.
It's when you look at the games in the past, what I've been told, this game used to be at the end of the season.
End of the season, yep, last game.
Last game of the season. So with this being early part of the season, it does kind of feel a little bit different, a big rivalry game. Usually rivalry games on the tail end of the schedule. This one kind of early on.
Well, it feel like, that situation where, you always have growing up, you had that scheduled fight. Like the bully tell you, I'm going to beat you up on Monday, and you just knock on his door and say, hey, let's go ahead and get it over with now. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to wait till then. I don't want to meet you behind the trash can. Fight me right here. So it's kind of like that. We ain't got to wait till the end of the year no more. We could fight now. Like we can meet up, out there now. So that's kind of what our mentality been is like, look, let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. Let's go ahead and do this. And after it's over with, everybody go their separate ways, and we do whatever. So it's kind of fun being able to do it. And then with it being a red carpet bowl, we got a couple things we trying to get. We haven't won a red carpet bowl since 2016. And I don't think we beat one Central since 2011. So it's a lot of things that are in front of us for us to kind of get, and we ready for it.
Would you like? I don't know if it's possible for this game to be at the end of the year. That too much heavy lifting to make that happen and get it back?
With me, it don't matter. I play them first, second, third. I play them twice. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. I like football. I like competing. And if you get to beat the rival more than once in a year, then that's going to be even more fun. We got 9th grade game coming up. We got 8th grade game coming up. So we'll get some more opportunities to play them in football, this season. And we want to try to win all three. Shoot, baseball, swimming, basketball, bowling, it don't matter. Like anytime we get a chance to beat the rival in anything, a wing competition, it don't matter. Like we want to win.
Who won that wing competition?
We won the wing competition.
Who ate the most wings?
We did. And talking about player wise,
yeah.
I don't know, probably Christian Stamps or somebody, one of them big boys.
With this being such a big game, a rivalry game, I'm sure you didn't have to worry about coaching them up.
Nah, he can talk about it, how your week in practice. I want to know his thought.
It was tough. We went back and forth a lot. They yelled, they went off. It's a mental aspect, but at the end of the day, we got to be disciplined to win the games.
Really? Okay, so not a whole lot to be said to get them fired up.
Nah, they should be good to go. They've been knowing these kids since they was in elementary school, pee-wee, play football together, some of them on AAU teams together and stuff. So it's fun, don't get out of the way of it being fun for the kids, That's the big thing is the game is about the players. The game is about the cheerleaders on both ends. It's about the bands on both ends. It's about the Gator girls, Vikettes, whatever they call it. It's for these kids, and we all as a community, it's an opportunity for us to sit in the stadium together, enjoy what these kids practice and do on a day-to-day basis in a rivalry type setting. So I got the best seat in the house because I get to see it, boots on the ground right there, hit it. So it's going to be fun. And you practice them so hard because when they get out there, you want to see them perform at the highest level and, honor God, their parents, and their school.
Keys to victory.
Be disciplined. If my football team show up in that stadium Friday and play Gator football, discipline-wise, and just get all, we're going to come home with that W.
I think the last time, was it a hook and ladder?
Hook and ladder is just little stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's going to be stuff like that where, and I don't want to come off as arrogance, you know what I'm saying? But I got so much faith in my kids when they do right. So, I'm not going to shy away from my players and, who in that field house with me. I see them every day. I've been seeing them since they've been 7th grade. When they do what they supposed to do, it's hard to beat them. And that's what I pray that they go into the game with and play that way.
In games that I've done, Vicksburg and Warren, always one play, whether it's hook and ladder, it's a play that you just don't expect in a situation. Get you off balance just enough to get a little bit of an edge.
Right. And the way you counteract that is don't even put yourself in them positions. You know what I'm saying? Get it out of the way early. Most of the time, like I got a real talented team. And I tell them all the time, this game don't come down to talent. Because, a lot of times in history, even when I was playing, Vicksburg was way more talented than us. Just calling it what it is, but it just come down to a discipline type of thing. I know what he telling them, and, I'm going to tell them to counter that, and we just got to play football.
That's Vicksburg High Coach Chris Lacey. Coach, let's get back in the win column.
Yes, sir.
Take this timeout from Viking Stadium. Kickoff coming up after this.